In the blink of an eye, the guy swooped in, picked up his daughter, and pointed the knife at her delicate throat.
If you love your precious daughter, do as I say, quick!
Mr. Rothschild's eyes grew wide with fear. He immediately fished out his wallet and gold chain and was about to hand him to the bad guy when someone entered the scene like a ninja and kicked the mugger's arm so hard that the knife went flying into the nearby dumpster. Before he could figure out what had hit him, the ninja retrieved the little girl and delivered a few classic punches that knocked out the thief for good. Now, if you're thinking, oh my god, what a hero, let me get this straight. That wasn't a hero, but rather a heroine, aka me. Hey, I'm Jade, but people like to call me Robin Hood because I spend most of my days doing exactly what Robin Hood did. Steal from the rich jerk guys and give back to the poor. That kind of explains why I walked out of the alley with Mr. Rothschild's wallet and chain that I'd sneakily swooped off his hands just when all the action began. Nuh-uh, don't label me a jerk just yet. I have a reason for hating Mr. Rothschild. The man bribed government officials to build a shopping mall on the land marked for a rescue shelter. I'd have happily seen him get mugged, but taking his little daughter hostage was a bit too much. I mean, it isn't the poor child's fault her dad is such a poophead. Jade, are you talking to yourself again? No, I'm talking to them. Leave it, you won't understand. Yeah, just like you won't understand how important it is to pay electricity bills on time. What? Did they cut the power again? How can you be so irresponsible, Jade? Don't worry, I'm gonna go to their office straight away. Time to show who they're messing with. Or maybe just pay the bill so we get the power back. But that was way less exciting. But sadly, Sarah wasn't in the mood for my sass, so I had to listen to her. Oh wait, did I tell you guys who Sarah is? Well, she and I grew up together in a stinky orphanage even pigs would refuse to stay in. Our beds were so hard, most of us got piles. Leaky bathroom taps kept our dormitory flooded, and don't even get me started on the food. It was a treat if we didn't find a few bugs in every bite. The only good thing about a few years I spent there was the survival skills I learned. And I kid you not, I was the most feared child in there. I watched tons of kung fu movies and loved to practice my moves on anyone who dared to piss me off. Like this one time, I saw a boy bullying Sarah in the canteen. I ignored the scene for a while, but when the jerk smashed her bracelet, which was literally the only thing she had left of her parents, oh, I lost it. Do you have some Dettol handy, jerkface?
No, why?
'Cause you'll need it after I'm done with you. I started throwing my kung fu moves at him at such speed it made everyone's head woozy. He ended up with a broken nose and 2 missing teeth, so he needed a painkiller to go with that Dettol. But when the warden got to know about my little stunt, she wasn't too thrilled and ordered me to scrub the toilets for a month. Me? Scrubbing toilets? As if. So one fine night, I decided to escape from that hellhole with Sarah, but only because she begged me to take her along. Hey, that ain't true. I paid you for getting me out of there. I gave you— Shut up, Sarah! This is my story. Get over your main character syndrome. Okay, but not before telling these people you took my stuffed panda in return. That is not true. Okay, maybe it is. I have a thing for stuffed pandas, but shh, don't tell anyone. Doesn't go well with my tough girl image, you know? Anyway, so after getting out of that stinky orphanage, Sarah and I lived on the streets for a while, and then I started my business, and we rented a small apartment. Robbing people isn't business, Jade. It isn't robbing, you dimwit! It's called equal redistribution of wealth. That's social service. Still robbing in my dictionary. Ugh, sometimes I don't even know why I put up with her. Excuse me? More like why I put up with you. Remember my last boyfriend had to walk 5 miles home after you took his wallet and his car keys? I did give him change for the bus. Not my fault he was too vain to use public transport. What about that politician's son I dated? You shook hands with him and poof, his watch was gone. Did you notice the pants he was wearing? They exposed his butt crack. I had to wash my eyes with acid after seeing that. No matter what Sarah says, the truth is she's obsessed with dating the biggest jerks on the planet. As for me, I may take a few knickknacks from those rich jerks without asking, but at least I use the money to feed the homeless and stray animals in our area. So a few days after that dark alley incident, I was going to get some groceries when I spotted a pup inside a dumpster. It was whimpering in pain, so I immediately took him to the vet. Apparently, the poor thing had broken its leg and needed an immediate surgery, which wasn't exactly cheap. Well, time for another business trip, Jade. I went home, got dolled up, and took a cab straight to the luxury mall. As I stepped inside, my eyes fell on a blonde guy draped in fur from head to toe. That's at least 4 minks draped around his body. The sight made my blood boil. Like, isn't the concept of wearing dead bodies of cute animals totally insane? I decided instantly the obnoxious jerk would be my next target. I strutted up to him in my high heels, and just when he was close enough, I pretended to slip on air and fell straight into his arms. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm not, Sugar Pie.
The guy smiled and I saw spinach stuck in his teeth. Ew. As if that wasn't enough, he suddenly tightened his grip around my waist. Excuse me, you're giving me claustrophobia.
Oh, trust me, I'm gonna give you much more than claustrophobia.
The guy pulled me closer, but I had had enough. I raised my fist to smack his stupid face, but he grabbed it midair and twisted it behind my back like a pro.
Open your fist, now.
I howled in pain and opened my damn fist, and the gold chain I sneaked off his neck a few seconds ago fell out.
So, we finally meet, Miss Robin Hood.
Those words sent shockwaves throughout my body. The guy released my arm and I slowly turned around to see he had removed his blonde wig and that hideous fur outfit. Before me stood a handsome police officer dangling handcuffs in my face. Oh no, busted! Before I knew it, I was sitting in the police station trying to strike a bargain with the devil himself. Look, Officer Neal, I know stealing is a bad thing, but I swear I was just trying to raise money for a pup's surgery.
Aw, how sweet of you. Should we call you Saint Mother Teresa, or maybe nominate you for the next Nobel Peace Prize?
Fine. If you don't believe me, talk to the vet. I took out my phone, but he quickly snatched it from my hand.
No phones allowed in here. And I don't care how noble your intentions are. Stealing is still a crime.
Okay, now he was sounding just like Sarah, and I didn't like it one bit. You know what else is a crime, officer? Having people live on the streets like rats while some jerks feed their pet chihuahuas grapes imported from France. Do you even know what it's like to sleep on an empty stomach? Have you ever fractured your leg and seen the world go by, no one giving a dancing fudge about your pain? Suddenly, there was pin-drop silence in the police station. I could feel at least a dozen pairs of eyes on me, and I decided to let it all out. If I was only stealing for myself, I wouldn't still be living in a rundown apartment. Look, I'm just trying to bring some equality into this unfair world. I'm trying to be there for people and animals who feel abandoned. How can this be so bad? Now there were whispers all around. Suddenly, the prisoners in the cell started clapping loudly and chanting my name like I was some frickin' celebrity. Heck, a couple of lady officers were so moved I saw them wiping their tears.
Calm down, everyone. That was quite a speech, Jade, but I'm sorry, law doesn't work that way. But, I can make you an offer.
Officer Neal took me to his private office, and what he told me next made my toes tingle with excitement. In exchange for my freedom, he wanted me to spy on the city's richest man, Jonathan Stewart.
We have intel he's involved in gold smuggling. He's probably hiding it somewhere in his penthouse. But since he's such a big name, we can't do anything without solid proof.
This is easy peasy, cause Sneaky is my middle name. When do I break into his house?
No breaking in. This isn't petty theft, Jade. We need to follow a proper strategy.
Apparently, Jonathan was obsessed with gourmet food, and he just fired his head chef.
He's looking for a new chef. That's where you come in. You enter his house pretending to be a chef and keep an eye on him.
Ooh, that sounds super cool. By the way, why did he fire his chef?
Oh, something about serving him cheesecake at the wrong angle. He wanted it at 45 degrees and it was at 47.
Okay, crazy much. But since he was my only ray of hope right now, I had to put up with him, at least until I found the hidden treasure. So I agreed to Officer Neal's plan and went home all excited. But when I told Sarah everything, she totally freaked out. Jade, what have you gotten yourself into? I know this Jonathan guy. He was my ex-boyfriend's and stepson's best friend. I've heard he's a total nutcase. Well, it's not like I have a choice. It's either this or rotting in jail for the next 3 years. But Sarah kept freaking out, so I decided to include her in my plan. I'm applying for the head chef's position this weekend. You have until then to work your magic on Jonathan. Get him to invite you home, I make dinner for you guys, and you keep gushing about how great everything is so he feels compelled to hire me. Sarah looked a bit unsure at first, but when I challenged her abilities to charm a guy like Jonathan, she took the bait. And sure enough, she had him wrapped around her pinky by the weekend. So a few days later, when I was about to serve them dinner at Jonathan's penthouse, I was expecting everything to go smoothly, except for a minor glitch. I didn't know how to cook, but I wasn't gonna let that stop me. Bonjour, sir. Bonjour, madame. Hope you're having a great day.
Yup, now if you make it even better with your food, you'll be hired.
I will try my best, sir. I learned from Mr. Jordan Bumsy himself.
Wait, isn't that Gordon Ramsay?
Oh, that's his lesser talented brother. The fool totally bought my lie, so as soon as they got seated, I brought their drinks in gold goblets I found in the kitchen. This is dehydrated sparkling water for the special couple. Jonathan stared at the goblet looking bewildered because it was practically empty, but Sarah sipped the invisible water as if it was nectar from the heavens above. This is the best dehydrated water ever. So, now comes the first course of your meal, mineral soup from the Seine River itself. Okay, it was basically a normal chicken soup in fancy bowls, but Sarah slurped it down delicately and exclaimed, this is even better than the one I had at the Kardashians. I served them a few other of my, specialties that obviously I ordered from a nearby restaurant, and Sarah couldn't stop praising my culinary expertise. Anyway, after their exquisite meal, Jonathan suggested they get dessert outside, and I felt relieved. But sir, please tell me before leaving if I am hired or not? Jonathan looked unsure, and my heart stopped for a second. What if he didn't hire me? But thankfully, Sarah saved the day. Of course Jonathan will hire you. Where else will he find such a classy gourmet cuisine, right, babe?
Yes, of course. You're hired, Miss,
Miss Mariette Gosselin-Lévesque-Sauvé.
Yeah, can I just call you Mary?
As you please, sir. I like to keep things simple. Jonathan left with Sarah in a hurry, and I realized I had some time to snoop around for a bit. But before that, I had to deactivate the surveillance cameras, which, by the way, was a piece of cake for me. So I spent the next hour looking through his study, the living room, the guest room, but no luck. His bedroom door was locked, though, and that made me wonder if he'd hid all the treasure in there. The next few days, I kept looking for opportunities to get into his bedroom. And one fine day, I got it. Jonathan was down with the flu, so he asked me to make herbal tea for him, and I made it. But when I went to his room, he wasn't there. I immediately locked the door and started looking through his drawers, but nothing. Zilch, nada. As I was going through one of his bedside drawers, I heard the bathroom's door open and I froze. I turned around to see Jonathan walking out in just a freaking towel.
Mary, what are you looking for in that drawer?
Oh, sir, I was looking for your flu medicine. You can have it with your herbal tea.
I've had my medicines. Just give me the tea.
With shaking hands, I took the cup and walked towards Jonathan, who for some weird reason seemed to be checking me out. Then, just as I was about to hand him the cup, he grabbed my hand.
Did anyone tell you you have the most beautiful eyes?
What, sir?
Yeah, and those lips, they remind me of rose petals.
To my horror, the moron then closed his eyes and pouted his ugly lips for a kiss. On an impulse, I jerked my hand and dropped the boiling tea on his bare chest.
Ow, you idiot! What have you done?
I'm so sorry, sir. You take a cold shower. It will cool down the hotness of your chest. Jonathan rushed into the bathroom, and that was my cue to take my butt out of this room. What in the frickin' froggies just happened? Wasn't that freak dating Sarah? Then why the heck was he hitting on me? Gosh, this Jonathan guy was way worse than I imagined. I immediately ran to the kitchen and called Sarah, but just as I dialed her number, I slipped on something and crashed into a crockery cabinet. To my utter shock, the cabinet rotated, and I found myself in a tiny room stacked with gold bars. Holy crap, that's like 1,000 bars of gold. I couldn't believe my eyes. I'd been looking for this treasure everywhere while it was lying right here in the kitchen all along. I had to call Officer Neil and tell him I'd found the gold, but when I turned around to look for my phone, I found it in Jonathan's hands.
So, you've seen my little treasure, huh?
I'm sorry, I just crashed into this cabinet and it turned and poof.
Wait, what happened to your accent?
Oh, sir, I switched to an American accent when I see too much gold.
Sorry, babe. You can't fool me anymore.
Jonathan lunged at me, but I sidestepped just in time and he slammed right into the refrigerator. If you don't want your bones broken, you better let me go.
I'm a black belt in judo, and I learned martial arts in Japan, so it's you who should be worried.
Turns out, he wasn't lying. The guy knew how to defend himself, and boy, his punches hit hard. I was almost on the verge of getting strangled by him when the penthouse's doors burst open and an army of officers swarmed in, along with Officer Neil and a very worried-looking Sarah. The officers quickly overpowered Jonathan and took him away. Jade, are you okay? I guess so, but how did you guys find out? You called, remember? And then I guess the phone fell from your hands, but I could hear everything. You finding the gold bars, Jonathan threatening you. I immediately called Officer Neil. I hugged Sarah and thanked her for saving my butt. A few minutes later, as we were leaving Jonathan's penthouse, Officer Neil caught up with us.
Jade, thank you for helping us solve this case.
That's it? Just a plain thank you? I freaking risked my life for this mission. I almost got strangled to death, officer. Suddenly, Officer Neil started smiling mysteriously, and then he told me something that made me jump with joy.
I wanted this to be a surprise, but since you're so eager, the police department has decided to hire you. God knows we could do with one more compassionate officer.
What? That's cool. But wait, remember I told you about that pup? He still needs that surgery, you know?
I paid for it, and I also adopted him last week.
I was so happy to hear that I couldn't resist hugging Officer Neil and kissing him on the cheek. His face turned red as a tomato as he muttered something about me being a nutcase. So friends, that's how my life did a total backflip. From being a lawbreaker, I turned into a law enforcer, and I loved every bit of it. The best part? Sarah and I started a GoFundMe page, and within a month, we'd raised enough money to set up a community shelter in the city.